Hello beautiful booktubers, I'm Becky Bookworm and I'm here today to do my April haul. One of the weekends in April I actually took a weekend out to Manchester with one of my friends up from London, and we visited a second-hand bookshop that is one of my favourite bookshops. Oh shit, what is it called? And naturally I got a massive haul, so I'm going to run through those really quickly. Clive Barker Cabal, which is what I believe Nightbreed was based on. The film, if you haven't seen the film Nightbreed, absolutely fantastic. I think early 90s film about this place called Midian, which is people that realise that they're monsters, they go. So I'm assuming this is like this. I do love me a bit of Clive Barker. Ben Nova, Cyberbooks. Now I'm going to read the back of this because I read it and was like, this sounds so good. So this was published in 1989 and it says, the greatest invention to hit the publishing world since Gutenberg, Cyberbooks. Walls have ears in the Synth-Oil Tower, and in the penthouse suite at its top, multinational tarantula enterprises have got wind of a gadget that will revolutionise the publishing industry. 20 floors below, lovely Laurie Tashkajian is the dispirited young editor at Bunker Books, a notoriously ruthless New York publisher. So her gentle friend Carl Lewis, a brilliant designer of electronic software with an invention to transform the world, is a man on whom she is pinning all her hopes. But oddly, the brainchild dubbed Cyberbooks has a very mixed reception. Odder still, a surprising number of old and retired New Yorkers are inexplicably being murdered in the streets. So I read that and I was like, this feels like they predicted ebooks but in a really sinister way. And I love the front cover. It's like, pew, pew, future. So I will give that a go. Christopher Pike, The Last Vampire. As you can see, I kind of rinsed the retro horror section of the bookshop. Oh, this is about Alyssa Pern. She's the last vampire of her kind, and she has to live in everyday life in amongst humans because she is the only one left, and she tries to keep her secret, but somebody finds out about it. You can tell most of these are bought. You can tell most of these are bought because of the front cover, can't you? Born with the Dead by Robert Silverberg. Apparently he's won Hugo and Nebula awards. I don't know if the book has or if just he has. So this has 3 novellas in it. The first one, Born with the Dead, which is a world in which the dead are rekindled into mysterious zombies who no longer relate to their friends and lovers. Then there's Thomas the Proclaimer, a reformed criminal turned evangelist, makes the sun stand still in the sky. And then in Going, a world-famous musician decides to go and contemplates the mysteries of state-aided suicide. John DeChancy, Inner Verse. So this is when America is a dictatorship cut off from the rest of the world. It's a police state with no police and people are transformed into happy passive sheep, and it's called The Inner Verse. And this is because of nanotechnology, apparently. And this one was written in 1996. Joe Haldeman, All My Sins Remembered. Mutated creatures, and there's an undercover agent for the Confederation. A mild unassuming man, 2 years of intensive hypnotic training have turned him into a prime operator. His technology enables him to take the appearance and personality of any enemy, and he has to protect the legal rights of humans and non-humans. He can lie, cheat, and steal, and kill his way across the galaxy. I got all these, like I said before, I got them from this really good second-hand bookshop in Manchester. And they had loads of Buffy books. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know I love Buffy. And I did pick about 5 up and then was like, actually, how many am I going to read? So I just picked up one about Cordelia because she's pretty good. And if any of you are Buffy fans, I would definitely suggest listening to the podcast Buffering the Vampire Slayer. They go through each episode and they create jingles for their favourite characters, and they have one for Cordelia that's all like, dreamy Cordelia, ah. Really cool. Anyway, I don't know if this is going to be any good or not. It's got some pictures in it of good old Cordy. The Dark Heroine by Abigail Gibbs. This was somebody called Violet Lee encounters a group of vampires and she has to navigate her way through them, I think. I could be completely wrong, but I don't just want to read the back of it, but I'll link it down below in case you're interested. I've never heard of it, but it's apparently the sexiest romance you'll read this year. Yeah. And finally, 3 graphic novels. I think I bought these in April. That's what I'm putting it down to anyway. I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young. I have just done this in my wrap up. If you want to see my wrap up video, I'll put a link to it up here if I can figure it out. Little girl, trapped in Fairyland, 20 years later, she is mentally aged but physically not, and she's stuck there and she's really pissed off. It's hilarious. Pick it up if that sounds up your street. Saga Volume 7, also spoke about in my wrap up. Phenomenal series. If you haven't read the others, get them read, get to number 7, then we can all cry together because it's super sad. Monstrous by Marjorie Liu. Everyone's been talking about this. It's meant to be really good. Some people have said the artwork's good, the story not so much, and other people have said it's all fantastic, so I'm going to give it a go. I will get round to reading this pretty soon. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I'll be back again in another few days with yet another video.